Hello, and welcome back to UEC Talks, UTM's Undergraduate Economic Council podcast, where we talk about, surprise, surprise, economics and life as a UTM student. It airs every other month and features different guests, ranging from professors, students, and alumni, to allow the audience a chance to gain insight on journeys, as well as tips and tricks to maximize your own experience as a student. As always, I am your host, Somyya Shahzad, or Maya, and I am a third-year economic and political science student and an internal associate at UEC. The theme for today's podcast is about gaining experience at UTM, namely as a teaching assistant or through the ECO400 Internship program. I am super excited to introduce my guest for the day, starting with Stone. Please tell us your full name, year, program, what internship you're doing.
Sure, yeah. So hi, everyone. My name is Stone Forster. I'm an eco major and accounting specialist student, and I'm currently taking part in the ECO400 internship.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think a lot of students know about the ECO400 internship. So can you tell us maybe who you're working with, how you got the position?
For sure. So the ECO400 internship in general is a course you can take once you reach fourth year. It's with Professor Zamet and himself, along with some members of the department, work together to place students in an internship based on your interests. So I was lucky enough to be able to be an accounting intern with Hamilton Health Sciences. So it's a hospital organization in Southwestern Ontario.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that. Next up, we have Nina.
Hello, I'm Nina. People most commonly know me as Ziwei Lo on the name part. I'm a third-year psych specialist econ major. I'm currently TAing ECO200 with Professor Bailey, and I've TA'd ECO100 over last year and ECO200 over the summer.
Thanks, Nina. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually a student in your ECO200 course. So this is really just office hours for me and super indulgent because it's a chance for me to learn how to improve my grade in the course. All right, and last but not least, Khurshid, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, my name is Khurshid. I'm a third-year student specializing in financial economics and majoring in statistics. I'm a teaching assistant in the statistics department for Statistics 258. I'm a research assistant. I'm not doing a cool course like ECO400 like Stone, but yeah, that's about me.
All right, thanks, Khurshid. And I just wanted to say Khurshid and I have known each other since first year, and I think it's just super incredible, like seeing how you've taken so many roles, and I'm so proud of you for the journey you've made. So let's get started. I am going to start with a super easy question just to warm everyone up. How are you guys doing and holding up with November chaos? Anyone's allowed to go.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'll go first. It started off pretty busy for me. I got a full course load and everything, along with other commitments. So a lot of different assignments coming up right away.
I bet everyone can relate with that part, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think November is always a busy month because we have those cycles of midterms going on. So it's pretty crazy. But Halloween was fun. 31st October, not too bad. So yeah, entered November with full spirit. Yeah.
I love that positive attitude.
I think similar for me, but I was most busy around the time during reading week. So I had a small breather this week and then another stressful period coming up this weekend. Yeah.
See, that's like the opposite for me because I feel like life is the worst before reading week, and then just after reading week is just continuous chaos. So reading week is my least favorite time of the year, just because I have to mentally prepare myself for how terrible it's going to get. All right, now to bring things back to economics, I wanted to ask, how did you guys choose your current program, and why did you choose it?
I can go first. So I actually studied abroad when I was in high school. So I was in international school. I was in the AP program and I took psychology and economics and I was in love with both. I was especially fascinated with economics, seeing that it was an intersection between humanities and math. It was a social science course where I get to learn how society functions in a mathematical way. And that really fascinated me and intrigued me as a high school student. So I continue pursuing it, even in university. And I can say I'm really enjoying it. So that's why I applied for an economics major and a psychology specialist.
We can just tell that you love your social sciences, doing both psych and econ.
Okay, I guess I can go next. I actually entered university hoping to get a specialist in commerce, but I quickly, like on the first day of classes, I realized that's not for me. I don't want to do MGM. I don't want to do all of that. So I decided to go into computer science. I liked it a lot, but I don't have the aptitude for computer science, so couldn't really get through those courses. But I've always loved finance. I've always loved numbers and kind of computing stuff, very similar to what Nina said, but more, on the computational side of stuff. I love statistics. I took Stats 107 and I fell in love with statistics. So kind of having that really balanced mix where I do like finance and the economic side of finance, which is perfect in financial economics, but also being able to kind of analyze stuff and, use statistics. I think that's a good combination for me specifically. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Stone?
Yeah, mine kind of also stemmed back when I was in high school, taking different commerce courses like economics and accounting really opened me up and allowed me to sort of plan out like what I wanted to do in the future. And then coming to UTM, I didn't really want to have to pick between the two of them, but I ended up, being able to fit them together with an accounting specialist and economics major, just because of the amount of overlap there is between the two of them. So yeah, I really enjoyed being able to take both things I really enjoy throughout my time here.
I think that's actually one of the best things about U of T, like how we can mix whatever programs we want. Because I'm doing economics, but unlike you guys, I mixed it with political science just because I decided I hate the math part of economics, but love like the social aspects of it. Okay, for our next question, what steps did you guys take to get to your current position? Specifically, did you submit any applications, have an interview? What was the whole process like?
So yeah, I think I can go first here. So for a teaching assistant specifically, there is an application procedure, I think, for most departments. It's like a basic form that you need to fill out. But it's much more than that. There was no interview process for me specifically, but I know the math department does require an interview process. But more so it's based on the connection that you have with your professors. We'll talk more about that later, but yeah, it's basically an application procedure. And if if your professors know you pretty well, and you've got the good grades, I think there's a good chance that you may become a teaching assistant. In terms of my current position as the VP of External Relations at UEC, it was an interview process. So if you want to be an associate like Maya was and I was last year as well, and Nida was as well, it's an interview process, and then you kind of advance into the organization based on, voting. Yeah.
Just to add on to Khurshid before we move on to internship stuff. So I would say the entire process of getting into a position, there's a long way of hard work and effort and time commitments. You have to really devote yourself to a course, really understand the material, to know that even if you get into a TA position, you'll be able to deliver your materials well. So first, get all your understanding correctly, go to office hours and connect with the prof, ask any questions that you don't know. And then if you think you're ready to teach students or you're able to convey ideas and information correctly, then you can think about applying for TA jobs. And for economics specifically, I believe the Department of Economics would send all econ students who are eligible to apply for TA an email. You can just click into it to see what positions are available. And from there, fill in a quick application, send it to the department. And then if you get selected, you'll get an email. If not, then maybe next year.
I guess I just want to have a quick follow-up before we go to Stone. You guys both mentioned good grades. What does that mean specifically?
I think it depends on student per se, but I would say above 90 would be a good check that you understand the material and have a good grasp at it. Although maybe above 85, a 4.0 is also a good indicator, but it also depends on how the grading schema is and how the professor distributes different term tests and participation grade, etc.
Just to add on to that, yeah, a 4.0 is very important, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But from personal experience, I got offered a TA position, the one that I'm not doing currently. I had a 3.7 in that course, a low 3.7, like 82, 82.5. So there is yet hope. You don't always have to get a 4.0. If you get a 3.7, but again, there's a lot more that goes into application. And we'll talk about this, but as Nina rightly said, you need to build that connection, make sure that you know your matter, not only for the grades, right? So there's a lot that goes into it, but a 4.0 is a safe bet.
Thanks. So Stone, did your application also depend on your GPA?
So my application to ECO400, they didn't really care about GPA overall. The application usually comes out in around like December, January, when you're in your third year. And at that point, you fill out, it's like around a 6-page application outlining why you want to be a part of it, what you're trying to get out of the internship, what your interests are, skills you want to build, things like that. And you also have to have meetings with the Career Center to do resume critiques ahead of time. And then at that point, you meet with the professor in charge and some members of the department in an interview. At that point, if you're able to make it through all of that, you're a part of the course itself. And then I later had to do an interview as well with the organization that was looking to hire me. So at that point, because you are submitting like your resume, you do also have to sometimes do your transcript. So they care a little bit more about your GPA than the ECO400 does in general.
Okay, so let's say you get into the ECO400 class program. Do you have to get an internship from there? Like, how does the university support you?
So to be a part of the course, you do need to get an internship. However, like they send out information on different opportunities, and you can also seek out opportunities on your own as well. So just as long as they understand, you will still be like a student during your time there.
Wow, okay. So one thing that I'm getting from everyone's experience here is that you have to work really closely with professors. And I just kind of want to ask, how do you guys feel doing that, especially from your journey as a first year where professors were super daunting? How did you change this misconception and get closer with them?
I can talk about my experience with professors. So yeah, definitely in first year, it was really daunting to sort of go to office hours back when everything was in person and spend time with them. What I found helpful at the time was that I just really focused on one professor and tried to get close with them. And, you know, building a relationship with them allowed me to feel more comfortable in general working with professors. So after my first year, it was a lot more suitable for me to go to an office hour or ask for help from a professor, ask for, you know, a recommendation letter, things like that. So I'd say if you're in first year, just try to focus on a single professor, and then from that you can build on it.
Yeah, I agree with Stone, especially you can build your confidence and experience when talking to that one professor. You can kind of learn how best to initiate conversation or just talk with someone that you feel intimidated with. And then from there, you could start networking and building your foundation with other people. But then I feel like generally, once you become a TA or once you work closely with faculty members, you don't feel that different because they're just people at the end of the day, right? And they're actually maybe could be your close friends. You guys can share your day, talk about something interesting that happened when you're commuting to school. Yeah.
If I can quickly add on to that, It's really about the, you don't need to come prepared with like a list of questions at office hours. You don't have to, make sure that you have, everything that you're going to speak to the professor about, right? As Nina said, just go there, drop by, talk to them about their day, say, hey, I'm feeling bored today. Like, do you have a quick minute to talk about your journey? A good point that you can actually talk on, and I've learned it through practice, is talk about their research projects, talk about stuff that they are interested in. For example, if you're really interested in economics and you think you want to make a career out of it, if you want to go into grad school, all of that, talk about some specialized fields in economics that you're interested in, and that could align with your professor's interests as well. Someone's interested in labor economics, go there, go to your professor's office hours, and talk to them about their research in the field, talk to them about their, PhD opportunities and all of that. It's a great starting point.
Just to add on to Khurshid's point, but don't just always go there to chat about their day. Sometimes maybe you can bring up some topics that you saw in the news that you found very interesting, or you could just sit in and see what other students are asking, maybe in terms of course content, and maybe that could help you fill in some gaps of your understanding in class.
Okay, now I'm kind of curious, like, who was the professor that you guys got along with so well that changed this perception?
I've got along with 4 professors at my university college really, really well, and I absolutely love them. One of them is from economics. Her name's, I might be mispronouncing her name, but I think it's Yingnan Zhao. She taught 202 and like 466 for me, and another 349 course for me. Then I have 2 statistics professors and 1 math professor. I know it's not more of the economic side of stuff, but yeah, Yingnan Zhao is amazing. So go talk to her, she's great.
I think for me personally, first it was Professor Bailey, and I got closer with distinguished Professor Philip Oriopoulos as I moved on. Yeah.
For me, when I was in first year, was one of the Math 133 profs, Parker Glenn Addy. I went there like on a weekly basis to go speak to him, and then afterwards for like second to fourth year, for anyone in accounting, Peter Thomas, who's typically like a very reputable prof in our program. I've been very close with him since second year, so.
I'm feeling suddenly so self-conscious about the lack of connections I have, but you know what, we'll change that up this time. Okay, my next question is, you guys are working with first years and second year students mostly. What's a mistake you see them make continuously that you just want to point out and just be like, guys, don't do that?
I have one that stands out very distinctively to me. A lot of students complain about courses, saying that they're not smart enough or they don't have the intelligence to complete a course or pass the course, which is completely not true. If you can dedicate the time, the effort, university courses are all about self-discipline. You have to really keep in check of yourself to do the work in order to do well in a course. Maybe if you have the smarts, you can complete something, maybe a video, take good notes quicker, but it's all about self-discipline.
Apart from, not accessing resources enough, not going to office hours and, talking to professor, that's something really basic that I'm sure every first and second year student must have heard about. But something that I'm guilty of doing as well is I go to an office hour with questions. The professor, the TA kind of explains their thought process. And even if I do not understand it, just because I don't want to be a burden to them, don't want to ask them to repeat themselves, I'm kind of like, oh, cool, I get that, great, let's move on. That's kind of wrong in the sense that you are not only paying for university, or paying for the time, paying for the value of education that you're getting. So you of course deserve complete explanation of what you want to get, but it's also the lack of confidence in me and other people as well. Like, you need to make sure that during these 4 years at university, you've built yourself up to that level that you are free to have conversations with people, are free to, reach out to help, and not, be fearful that you might be considered dumb if you don't understand the first go itself. So the first and second year students, I'm guilty of this as well, but make sure you do keep on asking questions until you get your doubt solved. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty much just building on what Nina and Khurshid have said, and that, something I was guilty of when I was in my first year too, and that just seeing the community, it's like, just don't give up. everyone sort of at the beginning probably takes a hit. It's okay to maybe fail that first test because you can build yourself back up from that. So, it's a big transition. Online has been a transition. So, just don't give up on yourself and just be able to move forward from that. Take that discipline and what you've learned from that failure to succeed in the future.
This is all solid advice. Thank you. Okay, now what skills do you hope to gain from your position, and how do you think it will help you in your future career aspirations?
So I can talk about that first, probably. My role specifically, I'm a part of, planning and analysis teams. I'm doing a lot of journal entries, adjustments, different financial reports for the organizations. And so really what I'm hoping to get out of my internship is the technical ability. As someone who wasn't really able to get like accounting internships prior to the course, it's been a really great opportunity to sort of get a sight into what that environment looks like, into the work that's being done, and sort of the ability I need to. So, understanding programs like Excel or different accounting techniques that need to be employed. So primarily for me, it's technical ability.
This is a tough question. I think being a TA, it probably polished my skill in communication. I was able to learn how to effectively communicate whatever concept, maybe simplify it, maybe stand in the student's perspective to try to explain the same concept to them. And I believe this would help me maybe in the future. If I become a researcher, I'll be able to communicate or convey my ideas better, which is very, very important regardless of which career.
For me, I think it's being able to understand the subject matter in the field apart from what, the course content kind of prescribes. The reason for that is because we often have students in our classes who kind of want to go above and beyond the course content and like ask questions. So it's up to us as TAs to kind of research and have those discussions with professors and the students as well to learn more about such topics, right? So you do kind of expand your knowledge as well. So for me personally, being able to understand more about the subject matter.
Awesome. So let's rein it back in again. We are now in November. So that means finals are right around the corner. What tips can you give first-year students on how to prepare for that?
I guess I can go first. So I think it's quite common that we only study for our midterm and we don't kind of keep on revising, because midterms kind of cover a few segments and then it kind of gets, distorted and we aren't really in the flow of stuff. So maybe start revising now, maybe, go over your first and second midterm content and make sure that you are kind of studying in a flow and don't forget everything that you studied back in September.
I would say for Professor Bailey's classes, I would start working on the problem sets. And if I find anything that was inconsistent or the numbers don't really make sense, or if I find that there's a big gap in my understanding for certain pencast videos, then I would definitely go to office hours or utilize the resources such as the discussion board to kind of check my understanding, to fill in any gaps, so that when the final exam is actually here, it's open book, I can efficiently utilize all the resources.
Yeah, and I guess obviously I agree with everything that's been said before. Like they're all great techniques to study. For me, there's kind of two. One was more of like a personal thing that worked when I was in first year. I studied with a group prior to a lot of the different commerce courses, finals and midterms. And I found that was really useful because people can come at different questions from different ways, and being able to get that can sort of help you figure things out. And then my other recommendation would be to check out the past exams that are on the library website. They don't come with answers, so it's sort of up to you to figure it out yourself or go to office hours, but being able to see patterns in what has been asked before can really help you prepare for an upcoming final.
So basically, in conclusion, start now because you really don't notice how fast the time goes. I still can't believe we're this far into the semester. Okay, our final question, and then we can wrap up. As upper year students, you guys are nearing graduation. So are there any goals you want to accomplish before leaving UTM? I said you guys as if I'm not a third year student as well. Okay, yeah, go on, Stone, sorry.
I was just gonna say, as a fourth year student graduating this year, something I wanted to focus on was like trying to give back to the community. So alongside with like my internship, which isn't really giving back or anything, I took on things like being a launch leader or with IBA doing biz mentorship as a mentor. So that was just something I wanted to focus on, was sort of giving my tips back to first and second year students as I'm leaving.
I don't know if this clearly answers your question, Maya, but for me, it's more about making sure I do build that community for myself that I can fall back on even after graduation. University is very uncertain. Life after university is extremely uncertain. You want to make sure that you have the close-knit group of friends who kind of are there for you at all times. That's my goal, yeah.
Yeah, I think for my personal goals, I hope to do well in my advanced economic courses because I really, fingers crossed, want to go to grad school. But adding on to Khurshid and Stone, I would want to build more organic relationships in university because I know that once we graduate, a lot of our friendships or relationships, they're more inorganic. So I hope to just cherish this opportunity to continue building organic, healthy, positive relationships.
That's awesome. And I really hope you guys are satisfied and meet your end goal. All right, so this was a great discussion, but unfortunately our time has come to an end. Firstly, thank you to our guests for joining us today. And I hope you had as much fun as I did recording this. And I would also like to thank the audience that stuck along this through all of this. And I hope you all gained some useful insight. I know I definitely did. So make sure to follow the UEC Instagram and to stay updated with upcoming events. And I will see everyone in the next podcast. Bye.